Hello everyone, it's Katarina. I have for you another very simple card making project, a background filled with bows. And because this is a very simple to do, I decided to make 3 backgrounds using 3 different coloring or painting products. I'm gonna start with a little lesson, how to draw a bow. I actually showed this recently, but if you haven't seen it, to draw a bow, you start with 2 loops, 2 raindrop shapes that connect in the middle. They don't have to be symmetrical. And then from the middle, you draw 2 wavy lines. Now, let's start with the backgrounds. My first background is very simple. I only used a white cardstock and black pen, more specifically a fine liner. You can actually draw directly onto a card base if you want. Just check if your pen can be visible on the other side. I started drawing from the middle. I also went back to thicken the lines, which you don't have to do, but some of my lines were a little bit wobbly, and thickening them helped with the imperfections. And at some places, I actually started with drawing the strings first and then the loops. This was mainly to figure out the placement. The first background is finished. This is a very simple background. I did make a card for each background. I will show it to you at the end of this video. For the second background, I decided to use an alcohol marker, and I pretty much did the same as on the first card, except I didn't thicken the lines as it was not needed. I started in the middle. I thought this was a good starting point instead of starting at the top, and I filled the background with pink bows. The background is done. I think this would be a great background if you need a card for a new baby, especially if you are using the pink. Also, you can use other markers if you have, like watercolor or acrylic. For my last background, I decided to use watercolor paints. I also picked a small brush so the lines are not too thick. The color is up to you. I thought this is more of a girly background, so I picked purple. And I did exactly the same as on the other 2 backgrounds. The only difference is I secured the cardstock with a washi on all sides. I used a thin washi as I didn't want to cover too much of the space, and I also knew I will be trimming the panels. One thing I forgot to mention with the other 2 panels, don't forget to fill up the space around the edges. You just will need to paint part of the bow. This is just so it looks seamless. So the last background is finished. Here you can see all 3 of them, truly very simple backgrounds that are also very quick to make. And if you want to see the cards I made, I didn't do anything complicated, I just added greetings. For the black and white background, I die cut Happy Birthday, where I die cutted a big Happy Birthday sentiment out of pink cardstock and birthday out of black cardstock. On the second card, I stamped a birthday greeting just using black ink. Since the background was pretty light, it was enough. And on the third card, I used a banner with a greeting that I stamped, heat embossed and fussy cut. If you don't have stamps or dies, I would recommend first buying a few at least sentiment stamp sets. But you could always write the greeting yourself or print it out and then cut it into a banner or fussy cut it. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. You can check out this card I made actually for Christmas, where I painted a big bow to make the card look like a present, but it's not a strictly Christmas card. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.